I'd have to say that started right when I was born. I just had a natural inkling. My parents, we were raised Catholic, a Catholic family. We would say the rosary together, pray together, go to church together. And I, to the day, still appreciate and love this tradition, the Catholicism. I found it a little bit not as broad as I would like it to be. And so I started searching throughout the Eastern traditions and the Native American traditions, and came upon Autobiography of a Yogi, among other sacred books from India. And when I read about Babaji, I knew in my heart that he was my teacher. Now, the book, Autobiography of a Yogi, which many of you have read, made it seem impossible for me to actually meet him in person, because I was a single mom with children. I wasn't going to climb up to the Himalayas and jump off to prove my devotion. But still, it says in there, if you say a prayer to me, and I did. I prayed to Babaji, and lo and behold, in late 1980, I found out that he had actually taken physical form and that I could go and see him at his ashram. And so about 2 months later, I was able to go by people helping me. It was just all miraculous how I got there. And I arrived in Wapi for Shivaratri in 1981. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what Shivaratri was. But all I know is that I was pulled like air into a vacuum to be with Babaji. That's how I got there. Like I said, I was already drawn to Babaji before I landed in Wapi, for sure, to make that long and arduous trip. But when I met him, everything, I just knew in my heart. There was a big tent there, and there were many hundreds of people. And in those days, they didn't have any English translations of anything like that. And so I just sat there in Arti, not knowing exactly what was going on, but I just started weeping. And I knew in a moment, at the time I was working on my master's and PhD in psychology. And I realized at that moment that I would never finish that studies, that I was going to do this the rest of my life. And the fact is, though, I didn't know what this was, but obviously it was premonition that I was going to big celebration at the end of a beautiful time. Premonition that I was going to live at the ashram and help do the arti each day with people and be there as a servant. Well, like I said, I knew sitting in arti that it was going to be for the rest of my life. And so that's all it was. I'm very one-pointed when I feel it in my heart. So right from the start, when I went back to the United States, I set up a big altar and would have people over to do the arti and things like that. And then a few years later, after Babaji, I came 2 more times to Babaji. So I was there, fortunately, 2 whole summers, and also that time at Shivaratri. And during those times, more and more, I just knew that this is what I was going to do, and I loved the ashram. And so then shortly after that, Babaji left his body. And after he did, a few years after that, right after that, I was voted president of the American Harakan Samaj. And then we decided to build an ashram in Crestone, Colorado, and I volunteered to move there. By that time, my children were older and in high school, headed to college, so I was available to devote my life. Well, while I was there, Babaji said, now it's time to go out to the world and tell them about my message. He said, go on TV, do this, give speeches. And I thought, well, this is a little bit intimidating. But I had been doing slideshows at my children's schools to get volunteers and different things like that. And I thought, well, this would be easy to do. So I thought I'll make a slideshow about Babaji and go around the country showing this. But I had no film left in my camera. And in 1981, it was not easy to find film in a little town called Haldwani, let alone in Harakan. So then somebody said, well, ask Babaji. So I went to Babaji and said, do you have some film I could have? And so he ran into his room, and he not only brought just film, he brought slide film, which is unusual to have. And so I was able to shoot slides and started traveling around the country with a slideshow about Babaji and leading some chanting and things like that. And I just kept going and going. We built an ashram, so many things. And like you said, that Babaji must want all this noise and everything because people are so excited at the end of this beautiful 3-day yagya. But that's the way it is at the ashram in Crestone also. Always people there, much going on, but it's all filled with love, Babaji's love, and accepting all people. I think this has been wonderful to come from America here to Delhi and have this Paduka Puja and see the people from around the world, particularly around all of India, but also from around the world, and how Babaji has made his family one. It doesn't matter. I would look at one person and people that Babaji took so specially into his arms, and they were very maybe simple people, or all kinds of people, rich people, simple people, people from all different countries, and they're all one. And that's demonstrated in the Harakan Samaj and continues to be. So it was really beautiful to be here and see that.